It really does confuse me how controversial it is to say that people shouldn't have to struggle just to live. And I'm not talking about buying the newest car or even buying a house. I'm just talking about the everyday things that are necessities in today's world without having to worry and stress about it constantly. And if you say anything about thinking people should be able to enjoy their lives a little bit, it somehow turns into this whole heated debate, which is genuinely confusing to me because I don't think that this is some crazy ask or some super entitled thing to say.
Biggest recession indicator has to be that everything is empty. Like everywhere I go, it is empty. I just left the BMV, which is usually packed. I don't care what day of the week it is, what time of the day it is. There's usually a shitload of people in line. Today I was in and out, right?
You know, this isn't some unknown phenomenon that we just don't know about. Places being empty is the indicator that we're in a recession because people don't have extra money to spend. In the most simplest terms, a good economy just means that people are spending money. That's it. You're not going to be able to break down what it means to have a good economy more than that. And right now, people just don't have the extra money to spend. So if you're not spending money, your economy doesn't grow. And if your economy doesn't grow because people aren't spending money, you're in a recession. This is the indicator, and I don't know how else to say it because it's not something that you just so happy to notice. No, this is it. This is the shot heard around the world. And I don't want to be that guy, but I have to. We told you so. We told you if you voted for that guy and he got in office that this was going to happen. And not only us, but the experts, economists were telling you that his plans were going to stop GDP growth and put us in a recession. And y'all still put him in office and everything came to fruition. None of this was unpredicted. Like literally, this did not come by surprise at all. And I hate to be the guy that says I told you so, but we told you so. Unfortunately, we have 2.5 years more of this, so the best thing I could tell you to do is to try your best to save your money. But y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Hey YouTube, everywhere online people are admitting the same thing that a lot of them have been too embarrassed to say out loud, that they're working, paying their bills, skipping things they want, and somehow still falling behind. So I put together this compilation because these clips touch on all different parts of that feeling, and I think a lot of you are going to hear your own life in them. Now, the hardest part isn't always being broke, it's feeling like no matter how careful you are, your money disappears before you even get a chance to enjoy it.
My pay is killing my teacher joy. Let me say it again. My pay is killing my teacher joy because I'm trying to set boundaries with myself because I do not get paid enough. My take home each year, obviously after tax, $36,000. Okay, that's what I have to live off of. And yes, I'm paying into the teacher retirement. No, I will not see it because I'm not going to make it to retirement. Like I already know that. I probably need to look into that and see if I should still be paying into that, even though I know I'm not going to retire. Anyways, my teacher pay is killing my teacher joy because I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have this amazing idea for this lesson for science, but I'm not getting paid. I'm not getting paid to do this. It is my Sunday. Right now, I should just be a human. But my teacher joy says, yes, make it so fun. Go above and beyond. Make it memorable for these kids. But my paycheck is saying, no, absolutely not. You literally get paid pennies. You could go work at Costco and make more. And it's really starting to weigh on me. And I just keep going back and forth. And it's exhausting. I'm like, set boundaries. Be the amazing teacher you know you are. Set boundaries. Because the two cannot happen at the same time, right? If anyone has advice on how to set boundaries, okay, because we don't get paid enough, but also still feel like you are being the best version of your teacher self, please leave them in the comments because I could use it.
Okay, quick math for today's video. So minimum wage in the United States is about $7.25 an hour. That's what it is also in Kentucky, where I live. If you work full-time, this is like 40-hour work week, $15,080 a year before taxes, and then about $1,256 a month before taxes. Looking at rent, average one-bedroom apartment in the United States is about $1,500 a month. So before taxes are even taken out, rent alone is already more than your entire income. After taxes, you're realistically bringing home closer to like $1,100 a month, meaning you're already hundreds of dollars short just trying to pay your rent. And that's for one person. This is not even taking into account people with kids who have even more expenses, more food to buy, childcare, clothes, school costs, everything increases. And realistically, people with kids also don't even need a one bedroom. They need more space, which means even higher rent. And even if you have a car, which you need in most places, you're lucky if it's paid off and you don't have a car payment. But at the very least, you have gas, maintenance, insurance. And people are like, oh, okay, well, there's assistance. Okay, let's do the math on that too. Even if someone qualifies for like SNAP, like food assistance, food stamps. The maximum benefit per month is around like $300 for someone, for one individual. This helps with food, but it doesn't pay your rent, your utilities, your gas, insurance, anything else. So let's look at it realistically. Rent is about $1,500 a month. Income after taxes is like $1,100. Food stamps help with food, but your rent alone is about $400 short. That's before electric, before the water, before your phone bill, before transportation, before your health care, before any emergencies. So even with federal assistance, the math still doesn't work because it's not a budgeting problem. It's a wage problem. And this is best case scenario. It only gets worse from here. So the fact that there's people in office actively voting against raising the federal minimum wage is mind-boggling to me, because you cannot survive off of the current minimum wage. It is impossible.
Getting paid used to feel like a reset, but for a lot of people now, it just feels like the countdown starts all over again. Before the money even hits your account, you're already mentally split between rent, groceries, gas, insurance, utilities, and whatever random bill decides to show up this week. You finally get paid, you pay everything you have to pay, and somehow it feels like most of it disappeared in a single afternoon. That feeling is exhausting because you work for every single dollar, but you barely get a chance to enjoy any of it. People love saying everyone should just budget better, but a lot of families already know exactly where every single dollar is going. There isn't some hidden shopping spree that explains why they're struggling. They already stopped ordering takeout as much, they already canceled subscriptions they didn't need, they already compare prices before putting things into their cart, they already wait for things to go on sale instead of buying them when they actually need them. After a while, you stop asking yourself what you want and start asking yourself what you can get away with not buying. That changes the way you think every single day. You don't walk into a grocery store wondering what sounds good for dinner anymore. You're trying to figure out which item can stay on the shelf until the next paycheck. Even small purchases start feeling like decisions you have to justify. When every dollar already belongs to something else, getting paid doesn't feel rewarding anymore. It just feels like another month of trying to make everything stretch far enough before the cycle starts again.
Why does everything feel like an investment now? Your free time should be productive. Your hobbies should be making you money. Your weekends should be moving you forward. And I understand where that comes from because life feels expensive and wanting more for yourself matters. But I think part of the reason why people feel so exhausted lately is because it starts feeling like nothing is allowed to just exist anymore. And I'm still trying to figure out how to want more for myself and build something bigger without feeling like I have to put my life on hold in the meantime.
Why do I feel like taking groceries for free might be normalized soon? Because literally, how much inflation is there going to be? Literally inflation on top of the fact that there's not a livable wage being paid. Genuinely. Like at this point, I feel like I can just fully say that there is not a livable wage being paid. Because no matter how much someone is making, there's some sort of inflation and some sort of price increase and some sort of basically a situation where you have to keep paying for something that you already own. All of these things going together makes me feel like there's going to be a movement where basically taking groceries for free is normalized and people are turning a blind eye. Because honestly, I can't even believe that people were ever working in grocery stores and chasing people down for taking their free groceries. Like, what is actually going on? Literally, this is the same country that took away SNAP benefits, which meant that children and mothers and families in general wouldn't be able to eat. And they just took that away. I don't care if they brought back the SNAP benefits. The fact that those were even able to be taken away in the first place is actually the issue. That's actually the issue when the country is literally funding a bunch of other things that don't feed people, but actually take away the lives of other people all around the globe. And it's literally conflict and weapons and all of these things to cause destruction. But then they were literally going to take away SNAP benefits and not let people who needed assistance to be able to eat. That to me is like, yeah. We're already in the era of the job market is horrible and no one's getting hired, everyone's getting fired, and there's not a livable wage being paid. So I just feel like at some point it would just be normalized for people to take their food for free from the store. And literally it would become a movement. Like I genuinely believe that that is the next thing that would happen in this situation that we're currently in with how the system is collapsing. Like it clearly is collapsing. We're in the middle of the collapse. Like the housing market is collapsing, the job market collapsed, all the economy collapsing. The American empire over. It's been the 250 years. You know what I mean? But I just feel like people are about to start taking their food. And let's just call it borrowing some food from the store really quickly. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's going to become a normalized type of thing, which would then become a movement to basically say, well, if there's no livable wage, then we're just going to have to get what we need for free. I'm just saying, I don't know. This is just my prediction. This is a prediction and also opinion based, but I just feel like something's going to go on with the groceries and people not wanting to deal with the prices of the groceries anymore, for real.
One of the strangest parts about all this is how quietly your standards are changing. You don't wake up one day and decide to stop enjoying life. It happens because you spent months telling yourself, I'll just wait until next paycheck. Then next paycheck comes and you're saying the exact same thing again. You walk through the grocery store reaching for something you've bought 100 times before, see the price and put it right back on the shelf without thinking twice. You open your baking app before saying yes to dinner with friends because you need to know if you can actually afford to be there. You drive past restaurants you used to stop at all the time and tell yourself to go another day. You start convincing yourself that things you used to consider normal are suddenly treats. Replacing worn out shoes gets pushed back another month. That shirt you've been meaning to buy can wait. That broken thing around the house keeps getting one more week. Eventually, every purchase starts feeling like it needs to justify its existence. You aren't asking yourself if something could make your life easier, you're asking if you could survive without it a little longer. That's why so many places feel quieter than they used to. People still want to go out. They still want to support local businesses. They just can't shake the feeling that one unnecessary purchase might come back to haunt them later in the month. Living like that wears you down because your brain never really gets a break. You shouldn't have to feel guilty about buying groceries, grabbing dinner once in a while, or replacing something that's worn out. I think that's why these conversations connect with so many people, because they're describing moments that usually happen when no one else is around. They're little decisions almost nobody talks about, but millions of people make them every single week. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. See you guys in the next one. Peace out. Have a good day.